instructions?
Yes, this evening, the contest, we will give you a set of motions, which are in front of you. You'll have 1 minute when we give you the warning to look at the cards. However, with that, you need to remember that previous business may come up this evening that the chapter is transacted. Also, at the 15-minute mark, we'll give you a warning. I'll just raise my hand. Keep in mind that there are 2 of the judges will be participating and voting. Any questions? Okay. You have 1 minute to look at your cards.
The meeting will come to order. We are now holding a meeting of the South Decatur FFA chapter. Mr. Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call for all officers, determine if they're at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duty, sir.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag carries the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child knows that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico and the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed by the Emblem of Washington.
Your duty, sir.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up a financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duty, sir.
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as a need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Mr. Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist in directing the work of our organization at all times, and I preside over the meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is a token in a new era of agriculture. If we are to follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll members.
There are 11 members and 4 judges present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here?
Practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess.
May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this meeting of the South Decatur FFA chapter duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters may properly be presented. Do we have the Secretary's minutes?
Yes. The third regular meeting of the South Decatur FFA was called to order at 7:15 a.m. with Will Smiley presiding. There were 11 members present. The Secretary's minutes were approved as read. Daniel Mapes reported a treasurer's balance of $4,000.480, or $4,480.17. The first item of business discussed was the success of the annual fruit sales. The chapter sold over 1,200 boxes of fruit and apples this year. A motion was made to accept the same prices as those received last year. The motion was seconded, discussed, and passed. A second motion was made to serve smoked pork chops at our parent member banquet this year. The motion was seconded, discussed, and passed. The meeting was then closed with official FFA ceremonies.
Are there any additions or corrections to the Secretary's minutes? The Secretary's minutes stand approved as read. Any officer reports?
Mr. President,
Mr. Mapes.
I have a treasurer's report. As of April 16th, 2015, we had a beginning balance of $4,480.17. We dispersed $787 to tractor pull tickets and $784 to the FFA roster. We collected $721 from our annual dues. Our ending balance was $3,630.17.
The Treasurer's report is for your information only and subject to audit at a later date. Any other officer reports? Any committee reports?
Mr. President,
Madam Carter.
on March 12th, 2015, the SAE committee met to discuss last year's SAE program. There were 17 students who completed the summer session and earned 1 credit each for their efforts. The committee felt that this was a much-needed class, especially for those students who could not fit an agriculture class into their regular school year calendar.
Thank you. Are there any other committee reports? Any new business?
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
chapter allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds and $400 towards landscaping the school grounds.
Mr. Johnson, you are out of order. You must say, I move that, or I move to. Would you like to restate?
Yes, I would. I move that the chapter allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds and $400 towards landscaping the school grounds.
Second.
It is probably moved and seconded that the chapter allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds and $400 toward landscaping the school grounds. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate?
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
I believe this would be a great thing to do for the chapter because this will be a good way to show that not only is the community supporting the FFA chapter to promote us, but we are also giving back to the community and supporting them as well.
Mr. President,
Madam Knopf.
I move to divide the question so the first part reads, the chapter will allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds, and the second part reads $400 toward landscaping the school grounds.
Second.
It is probably moved and seconded that we divide the question. So the first part reads, the chapter allocates $500 towards landscaping the county fairgrounds. The second part reads, $400 toward landscaping the school grounds. It is not debatable, not amendable, and requires a majority vote. All in favor of dividing the question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Dividing the question passes. We are now on the main motion of whether or not the chapter allocates $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds. It is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate?
Mr. President.
Mr. Finch.
I move that we limit debate so everyone can speak once.
Second.
It is probably moved and seconded that we limit debate so everyone can speak once. It is not debatable, is amendable, and requires a 2/3 vote. Are there any amendments? We will now proceed to vote on whether or not to limit debate so everyone can speak only once. It requires a 2/3 vote. All in favor, please stand. All opposed, same sign. 3, 4, 7 against, limiting debate fails. We are now on the main motion of whether or not the chapter allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds. It is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate? Mr. Kroger.
I feel like this is a good idea because our fairgrounds doesn't have much landscaping, and I feel that this would help them kind of boost our look of a fairgrounds.
Mr. President,
Mr. Ritchie.
I'm against this. I think we would waste a lot of money. I mean, yes, it would look nice, but I think there would be other ways to get the money for it, and I think we should not do this.
Mr. President,
Madam
I
Carter.
move to postpone this motion indefinitely.
Second.
It is probably moved and seconded we postpone this motion indefinitely. It is debatable, not amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate?
Mr. President,
Madam Carter.
I am for this motion because I do not believe that we need to do this motion right now. We have plenty of time to do it, and we don't have a certain time to do it.
Mr. President, I move to take a 5-minute recess.
Second.
It is probably moved and seconded we take a 5-minute recess. It is not debatable, is amendable, and requires a majority vote. Are there any amendments? We now proceed to vote on whether or not to take a 5-minute recess. All in favor of recess, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Recess fails. We are now on the motion of whether or not to postpone the main motion indefinitely. It is debatable, non-amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate?
Mr.
Mr.
President,
Gavin.
I am for this motion because I believe as of right now, as mentioned in the treasurer's report, we don't have the money to do this right now, so we're gonna need some time to really figure out some things.
Any debate?
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
I agree with Mr. Gavin. I think we should postpone this motion because, we're a smaller chapter and we don't bring in quite as much revenue, and so this would take a large sum of the money that we have.
Mr. President.
Mr. Ritchie.
I feel like we shouldn't do this because it is getting hot or warmer outside, so it'd be a perfect time to go ahead and get started on this. So if we are gonna do it, we should go ahead and get it over with now.
We'll now proceed to vote on whether or not to postpone the main motion indefinitely. It requires a majority vote. All in favor of postponement, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Postponement fails. We're now on the main motion of whether or not for the chapter to allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds. It is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate?
Mr. President.
Mr. Owens.
I move to amend the word county fairgrounds to locals, to the local courthouse.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded, we amend the motion from county fairgrounds to local courthouse. It is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Any debate?
Mr. President,
Mr. Johnson.
I do not believe that we should make this amendment because the county fairgrounds is somewhere that more people will be, and they will get to see this as they are showing their animals and participating in 4-H, or whatever the case may be.
President,
Mr. Mays.
this is not a good amendment, because what does the courthouse have to do with FFA? I mean, 4-H, county fair, has something to do with their agricultural experiences, and it's nothing related to this vote. Mr. President.
Mr. Richard.
I feel like this would be a bad thing to do because we can use tax money to do the courthouse and the county fair. It's just gonna be harder for them to come up with the money to do it themselves.
Mr. President, I'm against this because our courthouse has plenty of landscaping anyways, and our fairgrounds is lacking a lot.
Madam Judge.
I call for the president's opinion.
All right. Would Mr. Johnson, would you assume the duties of the chair?
Sure. All right, we are now on the amendment whether or not to take out county fairgrounds and move it to, take out county fairgrounds and change it to local courthouse. Is there any further debate?
Mr. Chair. I am not for this amendment. The local courthouse does have tax money. It has plenty of war memorials and other landscaping, so we don't need to allocate this money towards that. Whereas local fairgrounds lacks that. It has a lot of concrete and not a lot of grass and bushes and things. If we're gonna do this, we should do it at the county fairgrounds.
Is there any further debate? Seeing none, we will now proceed to vote on whether or not to take out county fairgrounds and insert local courthouse. It requires a majority vote. All in favor, please stand. All opposing, same sign. 0, 4, 10 against, amendment fails. Mr. President, would you like to reassume the duties of the chair?
Yes, I would. We are now on the main motion of whether or not for the chapter to allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds. It is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. Is there any debate?
Mr. President, this is not a wise idea because the fairgrounds, they already get their own funding and we don't need to send 500 of our own dollars there because it is needed in our chapter where we can do various landscaping projects for ourselves.
President, if we do this, it would be a great way for our chapter to give back to the community and say that we care and just to help spruce up the fairgrounds just a little bit.
Any other debate? We will now proceed to vote on whether or not for the chapter to allocate $500 toward landscaping the county fairgrounds. It requires a majority vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion fails. We are now on the main motion of whether or not to allocate $400 toward the landscaping the school fairground, or the school grounds. It is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. Is there any debate?
Mr.
Mr. Bench.
This is a bad idea because our report class helps spruce up our school grounds, so it'd be pointless to waste our money.
Mr. President,
Mr. Auburn.
I think that we should do this because the school looks kind of bland. With that new addition, it's gonna need some pittiness around that section.
I don't think we should do this because I'm not sure that we have $400 to spare on landscaping around the school grounds.
Mr. President,
Mr. Gabbard.
I am against this motion because we're getting a new gym, actually 2 gyms, and a track around that gym inside, so I believe we're already spending enough money renovating the school right now.
Mr. President, I'm against this because the school's already spending all kinds of money on the new addition to the school, so if we just go ahead and give them more money, are they just gonna waste it and put it towards that and not really do the landscape?
Any other debate? We'll now proceed to vote on whether or not to allocate $400 toward landscaping the school grounds. It requires a majority vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion fails. Is there any new business?
Mr. President,
Judge.
at our January meeting, we voted to sell popcorn at the county fair. I move to amend the motion to sell ice cream.
Second. It is properly moved and seconded to amend the previously adopted motion to sell popcorn and change that to ice cream. It is debatable, not amendable, and requires a majority vote. Or has this motion been previously acted on?
No.
Was prior notice given?
No.
Mr. Judge, you're out of order. Excuse me. You are in order. Since there was no prior notice given, the vote will require 2/3. It is debatable, not amendable. Is there any debate?
Mr. President, I do not agree with this because we should get out of here and I'm not ready to leave.
Mr. Ritchie.
I'm against this because I think more people would like popcorn than they would the ice cream.
Any debate?
Mr. President,
John.
I do not think we should do this because popcorn is a very popular spread food, and if we change this, this could downsize what people like.
Any debate? We'll now proceed to vote on whether or not to amend the previously adopted motion to sell popcorn at the state or the county fair to ice cream. It requires a 2/3 vote. All in favor, please stand. All opposed, same sign. 0, 4, 10 against. Amendment fails. Is there any other new business? Does the secretary know of any business which now be transacted?
I have none, Mr. President.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which now come before this meeting? We are about to adjourn this meeting of the South Decatur FFA chapter. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in our labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in salute to our flag, located at the reporter station.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare this meeting adjourned.